This waterfall model, as I said, you should see that in a particular, you should place it in a context and then waterfall model intentions was good. Waterfall model came in 1970s. 1968 conference itself, Royce presented his waterfall model, so-called waterfall model. Understanding way software was developed at that time. Software, who was writing software? Software was written by either university people, large public funded university, or large corporations, mainly dealing with defense, and governmental organizations. These people needed software. Common man did not need software at that time. They were not in need. So nobody was writing software. When you are writing mission critical systems, what is important for you? Certainty is more important. I can't do something and then say, oh sorry, I did something wrong, and again go back and do something. That can't happen. A planned approach is necessary when you are doing something which is critical, especially in defense. Therefore, Royce gave a model which focused on planning. The central aspect in waterfall model is planning. First, plan. Draw a detailed document on what to do, who to do, how to freeze it. Then start the development. Because there will be certainty by then. Correct? Nothing wrong. But what happened later was software became a phenomenon. It was not confined to this. During this time, the commercial activity in software development it started at this time. Then questions were asked. When there is someone who is paying you the money to build the software, and what you are generating for a considerable amount of time in waterfall model, at least 40% of the time you are spending in planning. Imagine the frustration of the customer who pays large amount of money and 40% of the time you are spending initially to show just some diagrams. What should he feel? You think from the other side, you are the paying customer. You have paid, going 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. All that you hear from the other side is, we have finished data flow diagram, DFT 0, we will be writing DFT 1. Go next time. They will say, yeah, we have finished our DFT. Now probably we will start writing sequence diagrams. Of what use? Therefore, there was a general discussion among the community that a model should be developed in such a way that we should be giving deliverables at a much faster interval. So when Boyle came with this spiral model, I feel he was reacting to this historical necessity. Boyle's spiral model is a reaction to waterfall model. Boyle, we should understand, was a scientist in Rand Corporation. His primary interest was in economics. He is very famous corporate in economics. He is the person who gave the COCOMO model. He thought that it's now time to come up with a model wherein we will not have this long planning cycles. According to me, in software engineering, there are only two groups of process models. Planned process models and I can say excessively planned models and not so excessively planned. That's all. All process models you can divide it among these two categories. So spiral model was a reactionary model to waterfall. What is important in spiral? What is important in spiral? You do the same sprint again and again, again and again, again and again. That is, instead of planning for 40% of the time and then developing for 20% of the time and then testing for next 40% maintenance, here you are shortening the time cycle. Your incremental delivery model or evolutionary model model, your prototyping model, all are subclasses within this. All are telling you the same thing. That is, instead of long terms of planning, shorten your plan cycle. This you should understand is also a business matter. I'll ask you a very simple question. You know these many process models. How will you select a process model? You have to develop a software. How will you select a process model? That is most important. What is the benefit that I know about different process models? I know how to select one and then implement it. Given the choice, can we draw a if-else kind of decision-making table? That is, if this is the condition, then select this process model. If this is the condition, then go for this process model. Can we have such kind of decision-making table for selecting process models?
Yes.
How?
Depending on the requirements and the time.
Based on the requirements, if you have this much things, we can go for this one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we go for
Now, what is it otherwise? See, it is said that if you understand the requirements correctly and if there is more time to go for waterfall plan model. If you don't understand the requirements correctly and you have shorter time, then go for spiral or any such models. But I feel the question is not that. Question is not this. Question is something else. All of you know how to write Gantt chart? Visualize the Gantt chart as I tell the problem. I have 8 people in my team. There are say 5 such teams. 8 5 are 40 people in my company. I am running a small time software company. There are 40 people working. 5 teams each of 8. Teams are there. I have 5 projects running in my company. 5 projects, 40 people, 5 teams. Concurrently run. How do I schedule my projects? Can you write the Gantt chart? Project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4, project 5. 5 T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Can you write a Gantt chart? I think you have 2 choices. One is simple. T1 will do T1, T2 will do P2. Allot one group to one project. Okay? Or I can have one team specializing in testing, one team specializing in requirement analysis phase, customer interaction, one team specializing in architecture production, one team on-site. If that is my way of organizing, how will I write my Gantt? If I say project 1 starts now, team 1 is requirement analysis, so team 1 is logged with project 1. Only when they complete their task, they should go to P2. There is a timeline. Main question is, when T1 is busy with analysis phase, what will team 2, team 3, team 4, team 5 be doing? I am a businessman, boss. I can't pay salary for people who are simply sitting out. 40 people come. Can I pay them free salary for 2-3 months? When the requirements are getting ready, what will other people do? This is a business problem. So, which process model to choose is not the technical question, it's a business question. I don't want my people to be sitting idle. Just think about this problem and try to see how will you solve this problem. Which process model is your saving? Did you get to my problem? 40 people, 5 groups, 8 people. Okay, if you want, you can organize it in other ways also. One team leader, one project leader, and all that. Take this problem. Tell me which process model, how will I do maximum utilization of my resources? Business problem, allocation. Because of all these problems which people face, this we don't teach in software engineering. That is why software engineering becomes a boring subject. Because we study only process models, we don't study how we can actually be applied. See, if you have problems with allocating people, 40 people in 5 groups, in 5 projects, imagine the complexity of a company like Infosys, which has 1 lakh plus people at any given point of time have 500, 600 projects. You understand the scale of problem there. This is where you as software engineer should give a solution. Being software engineer does not mean knowing a language. I keep on saying it's technology. It is to propose solution. But listen, one culmination of all this thought process happened in the year 2001 with the announcement of Agile Process Software Development Manifesto. I like the word manifesto. Sounds like a peace manifesto or something. Manifesto. Call for revolution kind of manifesto. Why should that called manifesto? They should have called process model. Waterfall model. Agile model. They didn't call. They called manifesto. Here Agile process. All of you know. Agile means agility is removed. Many people feel that agile processes are only for small teams. I don't agree. Even larger teams can be agile. Even elephants can dance. Famous title of it. IBM. Even elephants can. And when elephants start dancing, all these other people should leave the dance. So that is the way. Agile process focused on 4 issues. There are 4 issues at the heart of Agile Manifesto. One is, point number 1 is individuals over processes. That is the first thing. That is, instead of simply worrying about which process model to follow and other things, focus on individuals. People over product and process. That is, it is not good process which will give you good software, but good people will give good software. Focus on individuals, not on processes. Second idea, focus on software rather than unwanted documentation. What is more important in unwanted documentation? You should understand. Unwanted to whom? Unwanted to customer. Don't write elaborate documentation which nobody will read. Instead, work on software which can be delivered in increments. Point number 3. Co-opt customer in your development process. Don't keep customer away. And don't have this practice of updating your customer once in a week, or once in a week is still better. Once in 5 months or something. That's not. For customer as well. And 4, be adaptive to change. That is, give preference to change than planning, following a plan. Don't insist on following a plan. If the customer gives a change request, have a model to accommodate it. Agile Manifesto was the realization of the problems at that particular point of time. In 2001, imagine the scenario in software. We had just faced a meltdown. There was a big displeasure among the general public that software is not delivering as expected. Read this as stock market crash, not efficiency and growth. Therefore, there was a need for the community to win back the trust. Therefore, trust in the game. Software engineering community always has suffered from this trust deficit. Society does not trust software engineers. responsible for this? Communities. Unlike doctors or unlike lawyers who engage in direct contact with society, software engineers have never done. So there is a trust deficit. Anything software engineers do, public sees it with doubt. This is the primary reason why there was a huge halla when Narayana Murthy was chosen to inaugurate the meet. People are suspicious. There is trust deficit. The society does not trust software engineers. They think software engineers are these guys who have taken away all the resources which otherwise would be distributed among us. And software engineers also have not done anything. They have remained in an island, cutting themselves out from the general community. This is a big problem. The more the community tries to isolate itself, the more the society will reject it. And this is happening at a very, very fast rate. So the community, the software engineering communities should do something to win back the trust. See, engineering community as such had a problem. You should all keep Veblan's photo in your room. Two people whose photo you should have in your room. One to Mr. Fuller, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು Veblan. Because both of them glorified the profession of engineering. Buckminster Fuller wrote this No More Second-Hand Workmen Law, where he glorified machines and the machine maker as next only to God, not only next only to God, next to God. If given, you would say he is equal to God. Machine maker was equated with God, and one hand above, because machines work perfectly. God's creation don't work perfectly here. Buckminster Fuller. There is imperfection. Humans as such are imperfect. God's creation. But machines created by man are very perfect. Ante Japanali But anyway, Buckminster Fuller is a hero. Like that, Veblan is also a hero. Veblan, who has written two very interesting books on the nature of engineers, very strongly advocates that the society should be ruled by engineers, not by businessmen. Very interesting argument. Engineers should rule the society because engineers are more focused about efficiency. Because they know how to make efficient machines, they can make efficient in society. What I thought? You should have Veblan as a hero. But the problem with engineers is that, see, according to Marxist idea of society, there are two classes of society. One is working class, other is exploiting class, business class. Working class works, business class enjoys the leisure time all the. This working class always has a problem with business class. There will be class clashes and all. Marxism, classic Marxism. Veblan says, when engineering profession came into being, engineering profession started acting as a mediator between these two people. So what engineers do is, engineers take money from businessmen and make people work and give them money. Over the time, workers started seeing engineers more. This businessmen went to the background. So all the frustration which working people had on businessmen now turned towards engineers, because they were dealing only with engineers. So engineers, Veblan says, suffer from this problem. That is, the working class sees engineers as intermediaries between them and businessmen. Over time, these working class people think about engineers as exploiting class themselves. And on the other hand, these business people use engineers as their hands and minds. They being invisible in the entire scenario. Aditya, as a reaction to this, what should engineers do? Very interesting. Revolt of engineers. face all these business people and focus on our main idea of efficiency. Let us not remain locked with these business people to extend their interest. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಹಳ ಜನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋದು. I keep feeling that free and open source software finally has done something which these people were saying in those days. Finally, coming out of the clutches of someone and doing something for the community, there is a possibility in free and open source software. Possibility. Whether people will do it or not is secondary. Okay, so why I was saying all this is because we were discussing agile software development process. Today, if you see all the process models which industry is obsessed with, take extreme programming, take Scrum. Today, I don't think anybody talks about crystal methodologies, clean room software development and all. People are obsessed with extreme programming and Scrum. Both of these come under agile. Agile means following these four principles. Today, that is taken as standard. Now, this is the way the process models have been organized. In summary, there are two kinds of process models in software engineering: planned model and not so planned models. The question we need to answer is, how is free and open source software developed? Do we follow planned models or do we follow not so planned models? Or are we different from these goals? To understand that, we'll see the works as I said, but then there is a caution. The caution is, we are just seeing 4 projects among lakhs of projects. Can we generalize critical questions? Or can we say that the practices followed by these 4 people are the best practices only because these products became successful? Or was there any other reason for the products to become successful? These are all the questions we should have in the back of our mind before we start. So I'll start with one important